We're in the hands of the starter. So welcome back everybody to the Penrith Whitewater Stadium. Women's semi-final, 16 boats. The first few starters, Sophia Chen, Ali Cork, Ada Mackey, Danielle Latta and Georgia Rankine. And we'll be streaming live around the world. Tune in through the Paddle Australia website, paddlepenrith.com.au. We've got information about the Oceania Championships, the Australian Open, not the tennis, the real deal, the wet one, coming up in February, and of course the 2025 World Championships, which are due to take place in October. of that year, the 25th anniversary of the Sydney 2000 Olympic Games, and we're still going strong. Fingers crossed the water flows without a hitch. It's a good time to thank in advance judges and officials, timekeepers, compilers, the course crew, the course designed by our Olympic team coaches, Julien Biot and Robin Jeffrey, and the first boat to test the course, bid number 15, Sophia Chen, from the Western Sydney Whitewater Club, newly formed. And here comes Sophia, safely through the first couple of gates. A tricky manoeuvre at the top. Working across the river now. And back for the upstream at gate 3. So into gate 7, the second of 6 upstreams, 8, 9, 10, 11, the downstream sequence, and catches up with you as Sophia's found. Next to go will be Ali Cork from the Big River Canoe Club. Ali's a great whitewater paddler. Loves getting out on the creeks in the northern tablelands. And here she comes down the top of the course, taking on gate 1. Makes it across to the eddy. Let's go, Ali. Come on, push it up, push it up. Gets into gate 3. Of course, a lot of these paddlers have been unable to travel much over the last couple of years, even those within New South Wales. So, a challenging Olympic standard course takes some getting used to, and we're pleased to welcome everybody back. Well, the Australians at least, with the exception of Western Australia. And normally we'd be hosting 25 countries and close to a couple of hundred international athletes for these events, so quite a fair. But we'll be back in 2023 with a good, strong international field, one hopes, as we build up towards Paris 24 and the World Championships here in 2025. So Sophia Chen on the course, Ali Cork following, and now starting her challenge, it's Ada Mackey.
I've got no results. Not during the race. Okay.
So Sophia Chen crossing the line, 3:56.26. And it's been rounded up to 3:58. And the next to finish will be Ali Cork. Ada Mackey on her way, and Danielle Latta now the top drop. So still 3 boats on course. 1 through the finish. Here comes Danielle. She was due to line up in the Canoe yesterday, but has an injury, unable to kneel, but in the kayak sitting down, she's all right. She can take the pressure off her foot, and then she's away out of gate 3. So the back end of this field, we have Sophie Wilson, well, Georgina Colin, 5 from the end, Sophie Wilson, Kate Eckhart, Naomi Fox, and then Jess Fox. And here comes bib 7. It's Georgia Rankine. Beautifully done. From 2 to gate 3. Nice control, use of the water, catches the wave. So good start for Georgia Rankine. Top 10 go through to the final. And Georgia's away nicely into the up at 7 and out. See how she goes through the 4 offsets. Good tight turn inside of gate 9. So she's set up well, and now the double up. So a bit of traffic down at the bottom of the course. 3 boats in a short section. It's Ada Mackey who's going to be the next to finish. A bit of collateral damage for Georgia on the double up, 12-13 on main wave, but settling back into it. Through into the upstream at 16. And now the tricky move. And let's call it Jack's drop. So 3 downs into the upstream on the right hand side, 17, 18, 19. And it's that cross from 19 to 20 that's a real challenge. Here comes Georgia Rankine charging through to the finish. And we'll have to bring her score. On course at the top, it's Kate Morhan, then it's Claire Clements and Sarah Crosby. Next 3 boats to go. Top of the course, bib number 11, Claire Clements.
Yeah. Yeah, she'll be in about 10 minutes. She's number 1.
Good work in 6 and 7 from Claire Clements. Great to see the Tassie crew back here. Plenty of whitewater in Tasmania, but we'll be there in April for the National Championships, Brady's Lake. So Claire Clements coming out of 12, onto the main wave. No trouble there, and in nice and high. Too high on 13. Creative solution around the back. And off she goes. And of course, keeping it clean, that's the key. Sarah Crosby, bib number 10. Oh, well. Takes the direct line 1 to 2. And into the spin at 6. Looking for the wave. Claire Clements down in 20. So 3 gates to go. For the Tasmanian is Crosby from Melbourne, lining up now for the double up main wave. The upstream on the right. The key, got to get in high, push in. It's pretty physical, and she manages that pretty well. Boat in the air. Claire Clements finishes 166.58. Sarah Crosby right on form during the age nationals, taking out all categories under 16 and up. He was on the Golden River, and now finding a way through the whitewater. Here in Penrith, it's a different challenge. Another good performer down in Victoria, Georgina Colin. She's through the bridge. On the tail of Sarah Crosby. 138.62 for Kate Moran. That's the total score. Sarah Crosby out of the last upstream and chasing the finish. A few additions. Just making sure the last gate. A bit of a sting in the tail. You've got to line up well for those downstreams, and here comes Sarah Crosby through to the line. Georgia Callaghan strong through the middle, and there's Sarah 169.59 at the finish. Now, Demelza Wall from the Tasmanian Institute of Sport, originally from Perth. Last year was supposed to be a big international year for Demelza, but didn't happen. And she's been focusing on her studies and pretty handy in the kayak as well as the canoe. We'll see her tomorrow in the canoe. 144.58. .44.58 for Georgia O'Callaghan. Demelza Wall on course. Next to go, Alex Boone at the top. Gliding through gate 1. And across and a nice turn, catching the wave. A bit of a fight. That's the struggle through to 4. You've got to hold off that diagonal. We've seen a few paddlers surfed into the eddy of the far side. You've got to hold it, bring it back, get on the front of the boat, and Alex is away. Unscathed at the top. Demelza Wall, a red flag on gate 9, so a big 50-second addition, if that's how it stands. The stagger sequence 8, 9, 10, 11 doesn't appear to be too much, but it's cashing a few out here. Charging through the line, here comes Demelza Wall. So 186.75, 134.75 plus 52. On course, Alex Boone, now Georgina Colin. We're waiting for Georgina Colin. Good to see her back in Penrith. She was on the course yesterday. She was warming up, looking at the course this morning. Alex Boone, clean on the scoreboard, finishing strongly, going to take the lead. 1:32.32. Clean run from Alex Boone of the Western Sydney Whitewater Club. And here we go, here comes Georgina. So, held at the start, sometimes a distraction, but she's away well on the first move. Been studying in Europe for the last couple of years, paddling in Prague. So no stranger to tight, tricky courses. The Troyer course in Prague, one of the favourites on the international circuit. And a tight turn around gate 7. So Georgina Colin away well. Safely through 8 and 9. So 5 boats to go. Georgina Colin, Sophie Wilson, Kate Eckhart, Noemi Fox, and rounding out the field, Jessica Fox. Georgina out of 12, onto main wave. Just held on the eddy line, gets her head in and out. That's good. Keep your head in the game. That's the rule. Now setting up for the double down into the upstream on the left, AIS eddy. So back into the flow for Georgina Colin. The tricky stagger, she needs a spin and a high cross. Better catch that wave. It's not an easy wave to pick up and surf, but she's in high in the last up and away through to the finish. As Sophie Wilson comes out of the top upstream. Georgina Colin, a couple of touches, fast time, right into the lead with 6 seconds of penalties. 1:22.35, 1:22.35 the total for Georgina Colin. On course, Sophie Wilson, next to go, Kate Eckhart. Sophie Wilson now in the under 23 category. Like some of the other new seniors, they've missed that opportunity to travel overseas, do the Junior World Championships, but the training's been going on. She's out of 13, a bit of a struggle in the eddy line. Keeping a good score sheet so far. It's a sustained level of difficulty all the way through, into 16, using the features. setting up well, putting the energy in where it counts. She's on the spin now, surfing across. She gets a good run. And a nice turn. Out of the last up and away through to the finish. 3 gates to go for Sophie Wilson. It's a good run. Just the last gate and the charge to the finish. A clean sheet for Sophie Wilson. Where is it? Penalties popped up on 16. 1:23.07. 1:23.07. Goes second. So Georgina Colin leads 1:22.35. Sophie Wilson in second, 1:23.07. We're into the top 3. Kate Eckhart coming out of 13. Double up, no wave. Challenging technically, physically. You've got water in your face. But Kate's away out of 16 now, through to the triple down and the last upstream gate. Jumps through, sets up for the spin. And a little struggle out of 20 for Kate Eckhart, but she's away. Naomi Fox at the top of the course, a good line in to the first upstream, a gate through. Kate charging through to the line and into the lead, 1:13 and 1:14.82 for Kate Eckhart, 1:14.82. Naomi Fox down to the jump at 12, punches in high, onto the wave, that's a good line. And out tight. It's a tricky exit, you've got to run the inside line, staying in the flow, not in the eddy, keeping the speed on as best you can. Into the up at 16. So Kate Eckhart, 1:14.82, the time to beat. But this one about the progression into the final. Last up for Noemi, Jess Fox on the course. Nice smooth turn at the top. As Noemi now through the last gate and away to the finish. It's a good run. It's a clean run. 1:07.87. Making sure out of gate 7. After the high cross, it's Jess Fox now into the stagger section, 4 downs, bouncing along, keeping the speed up, the boat speed. Here's the upstream in high, gets the head around the pole, onto the wave, gets the energy off the wave into the eddy, picks up the flow again, good glide. So far so good, up on the split. Caught a little bit and a little bit too high into 16, got to make sure, and she's away. So 2.2 up on the top, faltered a little bit in 16, needs a good cross. It's a good time to chase. And she's in and out of 20 in no time. So that leaves Jess Fox 3 gates to go. And a fight for the last down, just gets in and away through the finish. It's going to be close. 1:07.87 to beat 1:04.10. So through to the final. that's the women's K1 semi-final. We'll bring you those top 10 qualifiers right away, but no doubt about the winner of the semi-final, Jess Fox 104.10, in second Noemi Fox 107.87, then Kate Eckhart 114.82, good runs from Georgina Colin 122.35 and Sophie Wilson 123.07, Alex Boone 132.37. So they look certain. We'll bring you the rest very soon. Having a few technical issues with the live results, but doing what we can to keep you informed. Next to go in 10 minutes, or less than that, at 10:47, 7 minutes time, it'll be Bradley Woods, Stephen Molino, Callan Grady, Bradley McLaughlin, Angus Thompson and Tim Anderson. The first half dozen starters in the men's field. 33 starters, 10 to go through. Rounding out the field will be Lucien Belfour, Ben Pope, Mathieu Biazizo. They're the last three to start, based on the runs yesterday in the heats. Lucien Belfour the fastest, Ben Pope a good run, Mathieu Biazizo representing France. Dominic Curtin towards the back end. The junior paddler put down a good run yesterday, so we look forward to him taking to the course, see how he can back up. And the fight for the top 10 in the men's K1 is going to be quite a tussle. It'll be great to see some of the juniors put down a run that takes them through. Watch out for Seb Montalto. We've mentioned Dominic Curtin, Mark Crosby, Hamish Dalziel from Tasmania was a hotshot junior. Some of the other locals to look out for: Miles Ford, Ewan Mackey. We saw him yesterday in the C1. But ones to watch early on: Tim Anderson and Angus Thompson. So they're seeded early based on their scores from yesterday. So a few problems on the course in the first run of the heats means they get an early start in the semi-final, but a long break before their final should they go through. Top 10 qualifiers: in 10th place Sarah Crosby, in 9th Claire Clements, in 8th Georgia O'Callaghan, in 7th Georgia Rankine, in 6th Alex Boone, in 5th Sophie Wilson, in 4th Georgina Colin, in 3rd place Kate Eckhart, in 2nd Noemi Fox, and the winner of the semi-final and last to start in the final, Jess Fox 104.10, the winning time. 3 clean runs out of those top 10 finalists. So Sarah Crosby will be the first to go. The junior under 16. So good experience for Sarah Crosby. Claire Clements from Tasmania, Georgia O'Callaghan from Victoria. And good to see, as I said earlier, Georgina Colin back on the water, back from overseas. And Sophie Wilson into her final two with a solid semi-final run, no major problems for her. So the tussle will come most likely between Jess Fox, Naomi Fox and Kate Eckhart. So stay tuned for that final. Meanwhile, we'll get ready for the men's K1. Men's K1 semi-final, Bradley Wood, Stephen Molino, Callum Grady. First three to go. So we start with the under 18 local. Bradley Wood works in a bike shop when he's not at school, or paddling here at Penrith Whitewater Stadium. Stephen Molino, a man who knows more about the landscape out here than anyone, an environmental engineer, avid river paddler, took up slalom at a sprightly age, and here he's sporting the Italian colours. A lot of the boats you see on the course here are second-hand boats left here by the international mob and snapped up by the Australians. And Steve Molino's got one of them. Callum Grady works at the Penrith Whitewater Stadium, so he knows the course inside out. And the first Victorian to go will be Brad McLaughlin, fourth from the start, and then watch out for the duo Angus Thompson and Tim Anderson, are likely to put down an early marker for those last few starters. Top 10, a challenge for some, but give it your best shot. If you're watching online, welcome virtually to the Penrith Whitewater Stadium. It's a pretty warm day, verging on hot, humid, sunshine, but still conditions, which is important. Course is challenging enough without poles blowing in the wind. And it's a challenging course that's been set for us by Julien Biot, a former world champion for France and an Australian team coach, and Robin Jeffrey, London 2012 Olympian. And here comes Bradley, number 34. Takes gate one in his stride, uses the eddy. Makes sure of his line, so he's boarding the run together, gate by gate. Let's go, Bradley. Pulls the turn and across into 6 in the surf. So Bradley Wood kicks off proceedings for the men's K1 semi-final. Next to go, Stephen Molino. And here comes Stephen Molino, bid number 20. Let's go, Steve. Up, 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 up. He's got to fight his way back up for gate 3. Next to go, Callum Grady. So Steve Molino coming into the double up, that main wave. Bradley Wood, one upstream to go, and here comes Callum Grady, bib number 6 at the top of the course. He's going to be the first early marker, but struggling around gate 3, gets away with a little bit of damage. Now setting up for the spin. So Steve Molino through into the middle section. Callum Grady's going to be hot on his heels. Here comes Callum. Penalty on 6 for Callum Grady. Good surf. Knows the wave well, of course, working at the Whitewater Stadium. Out he comes, picks up the flow. Picks up a touch on 12. In high and tight on 16. So Callum Grady settling into the middle of his run as we look up towards the start. It's Bradley McLaughlin, bib number 9, the red boat. Uses the width of the eddy at gate 1. Good speed across. Powerful start from the Victorian, but held on the eddy line. Just a little bit greedy on the cross, but clean. Good work. So lots of energy, lots of power. Needs to settle into his run, perhaps. No, it's a good line. 3:89 for Bradley McLaughlin. Callum Grady, 1:12.41. 4 seconds of penalties. 1:12.41. So we'll expect that time to be challenged. Will it be Bradley McLaughlin? Or Angus Thompson or Tim Anderson. So fast boats amongst these early starters. Bradley McLaughlin up in the split. There's some penalties to come onto his score, I'm thinking, from the top section. Here comes number 5, Angus Thompson. Beautifully done. A light touch and then a powerful exit out of gate 3. Really good feeling at the top of the course from Angus Thompson. 1:08.83 provisionally for Bradley McLaughlin. So the virtual leader at this point. Good top section from Angus Thompson. Gets the first up done and dusted, but it clips the second. So Thompson now carrying a little bit of time on top of his real time. Out of 16 though, and away. 5 seconds up on the top of the course. He's picked up a penalty, and we expect him to stay in front, and he is chasing Bradley McLaughlin. 1:08.83 the score. Thompson still an advantage, holding that advantage now through to the final 3 gates. Tim Anderson on course. Here comes Angus Thompson through the finish. We get under 100, 100.39 for Angus Thompson. Stakes his claim for the final.
One suspects that will carry him there. Good early spin from Tim. And tight around the poles and goes 7. Thrusting his boat between the downs, between 8 and 11, in high, sweeps up and away, cleans 12, stills on 13, but a good exit. Tim Anderson slightly behind the split time on the top, set by Angus Thompson, 100.39. Thompson did have a penalty. But for these fast paddlers with this field, consolidation through the bottom section in order, but also testing out the course for the final run. Here comes Tim Anderson into the final section, clean so far, 2 seconds up on the split. The difference is Tim Anderson is clean. Angus Thompson had a touch. The sprint to the line is fast, 98.78. 98.78 for Tim Anderson. Clean run and top of the leaderboard. So now back into the pack, and this is Brian Cork from the Big River Canoe Club, showing good form. A former Australian team member back in the day. Great river runner, a real catalysing force at the northern end of New South Wales, northern tablelands, at home in the Whitewater Creeks, like the Embroider River, and still very, very handy in the slalom boat. So just a single penalty, and it was on the first gate for Brian Cork. And working his way across into 16. Now Chris Tubb. Having a fight across for gate 3. So we've got Brian Cork on the course, now Chris Tubb, and then Martin Burke-Weaver. Good cross to gate 7 from Chris Tubb as Brian Cork now comes through to the finish. Reversing through the last down, now facing the right way and crossing the line, 145.36 for Brian Cork, 145.36. Chris Tubb clean so far, that's the way we like it. Anderson still leads. Martin Burke-Weaver now out cleanly out of gate 7. Close on the inside of 9. But a good clean start from the local. Western Sydney Whitewater Club. Chris Tubb charging through the finish. He'll be behind Brian Cork and crosses in 1:57. 1:57.63. So Martin Verquaver moving on down through the middle. A second adrift on the split, which is pretty good. And now through the finish, 1:17, 1:23.12, 1:23.12. And that puts Burkraver into 5th position. Now Charlie Shamir from the Melbourne Canoe Club, followed by James Kylie Long from the USA and Thomas Ladson, Riley Galea, Ewan Mackey, Neil Long. A good young crowd to follow. Charlie Shamir leading the way. So Wes Burquaver in 5th position, Callum Grady in 4th, McLaughlin in 3rd, Thompson in 2nd, just behind the leader, Tim Anderson. There are some gaps to fill if you want to place in the final. Here comes the USA. In the form of James Kyler Long. So Long away well. Great to see the Long family back in Australia after a 2-year absence from Boise in Idaho. And it's a family affair. Following James Kyler Long, his nephew. But the Long contingent now Australian residents, so that's good news. And here comes Kylie Long, 1:14.85, 1:14.85 for Long from the USA. At the top of the course, it's bib number 19, Thomas Ladson. Pivoting around on gate 9. Just waiting for Charlie Shamir's score. There's 8 seconds of penalties have shown up for him. And a little bit of drift. On the split times. So Thomas Ladson on course, Riley Galea next to go, then Ewan Mackey and Noel Long. the second of the Long clan. Bib 28 now leading the start. That's Riley Galea. Holds his line well through the early staggers into the spin, done cleanly, picks up the speed of the wave and stays off the poles at 7. Well done. Good work and a good inside turn on gate 9. Good skills from the Victorian. Riley Galea at the top of the course, but the double up critical. And the entry, well, I wouldn't call it clumsy, but difficult would be the word. He gets out safely from 13, very tight around the pole. Ewan Mackey, our next starter. And here comes Ewan. Gets caught but escapes without difficulty. And the Riley Galea 125.66. 125.66, good effort. So Ewan Mackey on course, Merle Long to follow, then miles forward, George Pankhurst from Western Australia, James Stamp from the Melbourne Canoe Club, Ryan Hughes, Hugh Clements, Ryan Hughes from Victoria, he's been up here training for a while, Hugh Clements from Tasmania, Seb Montalto from Melbourne, Andrew Stamp, Stampy, looking forward to watching him go, and Ben McManus. Ben McManus. When I grew up, we used to watch wrestling on Saturday afternoon, and there was a famous wrestler called Mick McManus, but no relation. Well, we watch Ben. Good to see him out here pretty much every week. Here comes Mo Long though. Been honing his whitewater skills in North America for the past couple of years and in Europe, and now back in Australia for our summer. 15 years of age and looking to paddle for Australia, I understand. Good surf in high for 7. Yes, let's go, Mo. And now Ewan Mackey, 3 downs to go. He's through the first and the second and cleanly through the third. Just the finish line to cross for Ewan Mackey. Great run yesterday in the C1. 142.64 for Ewan Mackey. So struggling to keep up with the technology here, I'm afraid, but it's still flowing from start to finish in terms of the racing. Merle Long on the course, miles forward in the white boat, bib number 26 from Blackstone High. Having to fight back for gate 2 and catch the wave. Now he's fighting for 3. So some early energy spent. Crossing the line, 1:11.28. That's for Neil Long. And he'll have to wait and see whether that makes the cut. It's going to be close, but a good effort from the youngster, now back from the USA, settling into the Penrith life. Lives across the road from the stadium in Cranebrook. Miles, I was going to say smoothly through the downs. The last one caught him out a little bit. And into the upstream 12 and 13. So miles forward, now settling into the middle section. George Pankhurst next to go, then young James Stamp. And here comes the bib 15, George Pankhurst, doing kayak as well as canoe. I think canoe is his specialty, but pretty handy in the kayak too is George Pankhurst. The top, nice spin, having to fight through. Here comes Miles forward through the finish. Looks like there's a red flag, 187, 180, oh no, 142.26 for Miles, 142.26. Ryan Hughes will follow James Stamp. George still going strongly as he approaches the final section. He's going to be outside the leading times, but a good run from George Pankhurst, 1:14, 1:16.15, 1:16.15 in the mix for the moment. Bib 25, James Stamp. Little Stamp and Big Stamp. I mean, this is the future of Stamp on the water. James out of gate 12 onto the wave. Well, he got out of trouble. Now fighting his way, or working his way, looking pretty smooth into gate 16. If he can get in high, James Stamp probably short on hours on Penrith Whitewater Stadium, but not doing too badly into the final upstream. 100 seconds, so gives you a measure of the time from that upstream through to the finish. And just clips the last gate, so it's about a 15-second effort from the last up to the finish for James Stamp. 1:17.52, 1:17.52, so they're packing it in. The last 1:16 was George Pankhurst, 1:17 James Stamp. Let's see what Ryan Hughes can deliver. Bib number 10. So the bib reflects their ranking coming into the race. The start order reflects the result yesterday in the heats. That's the seeding. The result from yesterday seeded the race for today. So Ryan Hughes will be followed by Hugh Clements, Sebastian Montalto, Andrew Stamp and Ben McManus.
Yeah, it was solid. I didn't want to go, I didn't want to be lactic, but I was so lactic at the finish.
Oh, it's a bit of a fight, like, here.
Yeah, my gate 6, the spin, I thought it was fine, but looking at the video, I lose quite a bit of time. And the locked up right.
Yeah. That's you got to catch the wave.
And I saw the time and I thought, Jesus Christ, I'm slow.
No, but it's a slow course because it is 2 crosses, 6 and 7, 19 to 20.
And backing into that middle bunch of paddlers, 1:16.41 for Ryan Hughes. Hugh Clements coming through the main wave. So Tim Anderson, 98.78, still the time to beat. 100.39 from Angus Thompson in second. But it's going to be around that 110 mark, I think, and below. Access to the final. Bradley McLaughlin sitting on a 108. Callan Grady a 112. They're sitting in third and fourth at the moment. Sweating it a little bit, no doubt. Wondering what's still to come. Here comes Seb Montalto. That's what's yet to come. Fast young paddler, making sure around gate 7. And through the staggers, he has speed to burn, but a wise strategy so far from Seb Montalto. In high to 12. And a good crossing to 13. So through the top half of the course, Seb Montalto now striding through into the middle section. 14-15, gets caught a little bit in high to 16. The crux move. 17, 18, 19 for the junior. The cross here to the last up is tiring, but he gets out of that upstream well and through to the finish. He comes out on a sub 90, so this a run to challenge the leaders. 95 through the last gate. It's going to be close. 98.78 the time to beat. He's outside, but a good score. 101.69. 101.69. Great run, great time. Seb Montalto goes into third. He did what he had to do. Stay off the poles, keep his head in the game. It's quite simple, but it's hard when you're out there. The adrenaline's flowing, the arms are pumping, the poles are coming at you, and a good, well-managed run from Seb Montalto puts him, well, one hopes for him through into the final, but quite a few birds still to come. Boats still to finish, so he'll have to wait, but one does imagine that score from Seb Montalto will take him through to the final, and good to see him there if he makes it. Andy Stamp. Well, you'll remember those days around Sydney 2000. Paddling at Penrith. Days on the Australian team. Well, let's have a look at James Stamp. His score was 117.52. Will old man Stamp get him? He might just. 116.04 for Stampy. 116.04 for Stampy the Grand. And 117.52 for the mini Stamp. And number 12, big number 12, that's Ben McManus. And then we'll be into the last 10 starters. And that's when we can start calling the provisional qualifiers as best we can with the means at our disposal. Still struggling out in the western suburbs with a good internet service at the venue. Something to look at. Gate 16, that's where Ben McManus is at. And next to go is the two Montalto brothers. It's Josh, the tune of Josh Montalto, who's in the under 23 category. Ben McManus now charging through to the finish. So he's going to be close to the bubble. 114, 116, it slipped away. 118.15 for Ben McManus. One feels not enough. Not enough for the final, I think. But good effort nonetheless from Ben McManus. And here comes Josh Montalto. We've seen younger brother Seb post an impressive score. Josh across into 7 and can't get away off the pole, so takes the penalty with him. Takes the pole and the exit and the penalty. Here he comes now, the double up, crucial, but the edge pops up. So we're now into the final 10 boats. Tim Anderson will be the first to qualify. And the question will be, can Montalto do enough at the bottom of the course to make up for some early errors? He's finishing off strongly. He's in the low 100s now, but still to get to the line. 108, 109, 109.96. 109.96 for Josh Montalto. On course now, Declan Ellis. Moved down from northern New South Wales to study in Sydney and paddle in Penrith. Today in kayak, tomorrow in canoe in the under 23 category. So Declan through Now into the middle of the course, young Mark Crosby at the top. Picks up the wave nicely into gate 7. Good lines through the staggers, 8, 9, 10 and 11. And a good smooth cross into gate 13. Here comes Declan Ellis at the finish. It's going to be outside the A final. 1:33.83 for Declan Ellis. And our eyes on Mark Crosby. He's out of the last up on 90 seconds. It's a good time. 3 gates to go. And the charge to the finish for Mark Crosby. He's outside the 100. But a good run. 107.34. 107.34. Might be enough to take him through. Now, Hamish Dalziel at the top. Then it's Dom Curtin. So our juniors inside the top 10 yesterday in the heat, so that's a measure of their form. And we've seen Seb Montalto, who was the first of the young guns. He's claimed his place in the final. And Mark Crosby will be the next to wonder. Hamish Dalziel, Dominic Curtin, the young challengers to follow.
That's the way. Good work.
Thank you. Hard work.
Come and say a few words.
Say a few words.
Well, with me is bid number 14, and it's none other than Seb Montalto. So, Seb, tell us about your run. You cleaned the course from what I could see, so you must be happy with that.
Yeah, I was pretty happy. My plan was to just have a nice, easy run that was super controlled and no penalties, unlike yesterday.
Okay, good run, clean run. That's the way. Seb Montalto through to the final, I'm pretty sure. Top of the course, it's Dom Curtin. 154.34 for Hamish Dalziel, so something the judges came up with. Results provisional until the scores have been checked. Dom Curtin flying around the upstreams, but a double take on gate 13. That's another 3 to 4 seconds and a touch, so Dom Curtin's got to push it through the middle. So Dominic Curtin still to finish. He slipped out of the 19 and the time slipped away for Dom Curtin. He's going to be, I think, outside the A final bubble. Aidan O'Callaghan though, different story at the top. 120.11. Sorry, 118.11 for Dom Curtin. Good lines from Aidan O'Callaghan at the top. And then
4 boats to go. Following Aidan O'Callaghan, Tristan Carter, Mathieu Biazizo, Benjamin Pope, and Lucien Delfour. Aidan O'Callaghan out of 16. Tristan Carter at the top of the course now. 86.57 the split. O'Callaghan's fighting into the last up, but he's got some work to do. He's going to be in the low teens. And on the bubble, I'm sure, for the final. 1:15.33 for Aidan O'Callaghan. $1:15.33. Tristan Carter on the course. And then the challenge to the leader, Tim Anderson, from Matt Biazizo, Ben Pope, Lucien Delfour. Not saying Tristan Carter's not going to challenge, he is. He's looking good. Better known for his canoe skills, but when he's on a good run, he's on a good run, whether it's in the kayak or the canoe. He's through in 75.93. I'd say he's on the pace for the final. Out of the last upstream, comfortably. And the question will be, can he get under 100? Good run from Tristan Carter into the A final. 101.82. 101.82, Tristan Carter. He's got it in the kayak. A chance to challenge in the A final. Mathieu Biazizo. Sweetly in and out of gate 3. And high into gate 7. Look at the power on the sweep out of 7. It's got him away well. All those downstreams not getting in his way. Mathieu Biazizo into the double up. Makes sure of gate 12 and the cross to 13, and away he goes, Mathieu Biazizo of France into the middle section. Good boat run. I might have clipped 14 as he cut across to gate 15, but still going well, the Frenchman. Into the tricky stagger and the spin. So crossing out of the last up, he's on 82 seconds, so fast finish in prospect for Mathieu Biazizo. 98.78 the time to beat, and he goes just outside 100.67. 100.67, that's probably third for now, but it's through. Ben Pope. Nice turn on 6 and 7. So Ben Pope through under the bridge, and following him, the last man in this men's K1 semi-final, Lucien Delfour, in the start pool. Here comes Pope, making sure also around the back of gate 12. Enables him to pick up the speed on the cross. Fluently through 13, 14, 15. Out of the upstream at 16. 74.68, that's a good split time for Ben Pope. He's across high for gate 20. Fights his way out cleanly. So Pope chasing the finish. 98 still standing, 98.78, and he's going to be close. 99.20, Ben Pope goes second. So Pope will go off towards the end, but Lucien Delfour gets out of 7, out of trouble, very close, but quickly away under the bridge for the two-time Olympian, wearing bib number 1 for a reason. Great turn on 12. Water in the face around 13. And he falters a little bit on 13 with his execution, but quickly through the double stagger and a good line out of 16. So Tim Anderson, the first to go, 76.81, the second split for Delfour, so he is down a little bit. We won't be worried about that. He's just getting a measure of the course, and a fast finisher, generally speaking, a good sprint through the finish. But over the 100, 101.64 for Lucien Delfour. 101.64, but through. So that concludes the K1 men's semi-final, and we'll just run through the provisional qualifiers. Knowing that in the women's semi-final there were some adjustments, and that did change the provisional qualifiers, so the same might be there for the men. I have too many that I watch, but one of them would have to be Miquel Trave, the Spanish. That in there. Nanjing Youth Olympics, Penrith Junior World Championship finalist, making the junior team in 2020 and 2021. So the most popular canoe club out there is Western Sydney Whitewater Club, but also Melbourne Canoe Club. And in the hobby department, fixing motorbikes and target shooting. I think I know who that is. Trail running and a few ultra marathons, making money. Now, I don't know about this, hanging out with my greyhound Pink, watching kayaking, carpentry and four-wheel drives. And the youngest has started paddling at 8 years of age. And the Wiggles comes up, well, Triple J, top 100. So we're going to kick off with the final. So thank you for sharing your thoughts, and we'll be back into the racing, coming up right now with Claire Clements, Georgina Colin and Giorgio Rankine.
For the medal ceremonies, have we got any, we'll just do the best we can. Or we'll just shout.
Isn't there someone who's got a, isn't there a manual?
There is one here, but we haven't tested it or used it, so I don't know. I'll have a look.
I thought PWS had one.
And here we go, women's K1 final, bib number 11 on course, Claire Clements, under 16 paddler from Tasmania, made it through into the final. Claire gets into the spin at gate 6. We're on 2-minute start intervals, so we'll be able to follow each one through to the finish. Split times will come into play. So penalties so far, gate 6. But right now, what's front of mind for Claire Clements is the struggle around gate 12, but she's out of that, onto the wave, but thrown back down the river. And it's a long road back up to gate 13, but she's on her way. So staying nicely off the poles. Through that main wave section, despite the difficulties. Now down to the triple down, 17, 18, 19. And importantly, the spin out of 19 and the cross back for the upstream. At the top of the course, Georgina Colin. Backwards through 2, but a good move as it took her high into the upstream at 3, which is what you want. And now good positioning into the spin and fight. Try and catch a wave, get some green water. And Giorgio Colin well underway. Here comes Claire Clements through to the finish. So there was a clean section through the middle, but a few penalties towards the bottom, and that big paddle up at 13, 176.13. Well done to Claire Clements, under 16 from Tasmania. Not many runs down this course,
but good prospect for the future. She can be proud of that effort. Oh, good cross from Georgia O'Callaghan in high, flew off the wave into gate 13. So fast on the double up from the Victorian. Doing the drill through 14 and 15. But a few strokes required to get back up to 16, so a little bit of time in that section, but going strongly. And she makes it into the spin, and away she goes. This is a hard part, it's physical, it's the second run of the day. Getting high into that upstream at 20 is no mean feat, and she's away, paddling strongly down to the final 3 downs. 21, 22, and now 23 coming up. So Georgia O'Callaghan will move into the lead, and she crosses in 1:39.31. 6 seconds of penalties for Georgia. Well, speaking of Georgia, here comes Georgia Rankine, and she's got away well and catches a good wave into gate 7. Tucks in, holds that. She's got a fight now for gate 10, and she makes it. Good clean start from Rankine. She's up on the split, 3.78 ahead of Georgia O'Callaghan. No trouble around 12, and beautifully done. High and good flow around the upstream at 13, back into the flow. Good paddling from Georgia Rankine. Needs to hold it through this tight double down and catch the wave into the upstream. Still going well, good high up at the 16 for Georgia. Just inside 19 and onto the wave, and a good high cross. So Georgia Rankine, great paddling, she's well in front, 3 gates to go, and the lead within her grasp, throwing down the gauntlet. It's a good run from the local. Georgia going strongly, a penalty on 22 added to her time, and the total 1:22.04, the new lead. Georgia Rankine, good work. Demelza Wall, and now from the Tasmanian Institute of Sport. Chose Tasmania for her studies. She'll be back tomorrow in the C1 as well. Originally from Western Australia. Here comes Demelza. Good around 16, but time to make up on the leader, Georgia Rankine. 1:22.04. Checks in 19, comes out high but tangles herself, gets tangled up on the poles at 19. So time and a penalty. So Rankine's time will stand as Demelza Wall makes her way through the final section. Alex Boone soon to leave the start as Wall crosses in 1:39, 1:40.85 for Georgia, for Demelza, 1:40.85, and 3rd place for Demelza Wall. Here comes Alex Boone down the top drop.
Flying into one, but working now back, got to hold that inside, catch the wave, spun back up, but she's in high for 3, so question is, can she get out? And here she comes, Alex Boone, now safely on the way at the top of the course. Well, a little bit of trouble under the bridge. And too high into 12, but out. Now getting into the rhythm on the exit from 13. Next to go is Sophie Wilson in the hands of the starter, but Alex Boone now tidally through 14 and 15. Tied around 16. So slipped away a little bit, 8 seconds adrift on the very top. Georgia Rankine's run, still holding on, 1:22.04. Here comes Alex Boone. Well, she went forwards and is paying for that line. She's down low, having to fight back up for gate 20, so a bit of a fight on for Alex Boone in the final stages as Sophie Wilson now launches into her run at the top of the course, 3 gate 1, nice turn. And a good cross into 3, good start for Sophie Wilson. She'll feel good about that, and now attacking the first few gates and doing it very well. Good surf, super high and out tight from 7, perhaps too high and tight. Judges right on top. We'll let them do their work. And here comes Sophie charging down to gate 11. Alex Boone 1:48.23. She's in 4th. As Sophie Wilson gets some air on the cross, 12 to 13, beautiful glide, flying. She's 2 up on the top split, but a penalty on 12 will cancel the advantage. So the race on for the lead between Sophie Wilson and the leader, 1:22.04, Georgia Rankine. Sophie sets up for the spin and she comes out of it pretty well. There's the fight and she's out of the upstream and away to the finish, 1:05. She's got 15 seconds to get there. .122 the time to beat. I think she's going to make it. 1:19.21, no, there's a penalty. 1:23.86 goes second. Sophie Wilson in the second place, 6 seconds of penalties. Gate 22 was the last one, and that cost her the lead. But good run, some good skills from Sophie Wilson. Georgina Colin now at the top, coming in and up to gate 3. 4 boats to go. Georgina Colin, Kate Eckhart, Naomi Fox and Jess Fox. Rankine leads. The first split time will tell us what we need to know about Georgina's challenge as she sets up now for the little forest of gates, 8 to 11. And she's caught a touch. She was a second up. So in touch with the lead. She can keep the boat moving in and out of 13. picks up the flow well. Keeping the speed on. Good intensity through the middle. Getting caught, falling off the wave a little in 16, but still high. So the next split time will tell us whether she's up or down on 1:22.04. Georgia Rankine. Georgina plays Georgia. 1.4 down on the second split. So a fast finish, and she is a downriver paddler too, so speed through the rapids could be her strength. Chasing the 1:22 through the last three gates. But no, gate 22 flew by and she's back up for it, so the race lost for Georgina at that point, but a good run all the same. 128.95 the score she will settle for, as Kate Eckhart now will look to set the scoreboard alight and throw down the gauntlet to the Fox sisters still to come. Here comes Kate Eckhart around gate 7. Looking for her to be up on the first split. And she is 2.75 seconds up, despite the penalty that she's carrying, and another one now she's got to get rid of with speed on the final section of the course. Let's go, Kate Eckhart, out of gate 13. Cautiously through 14 and 15. But gets the nice bounce, keeps the boat moving through 16. That's important. You don't want to get stuck in that eddy, AIS eddy. And now 18 to 19. Good power across, good power from Kate Eckhart. Holds the line on the inside and gets the exit she needs out of gate 20. Away to the finish. She's 2 seconds up with 3 gates to go. And the new leader from Tasmania, Kate Eckhart, or should I say Canberra now, 1:16.05. The clock stops at 1:16.05, 4 seconds of penalties, and Kate Eckhart in the lead. So the final 2 boats now. Bib 2 and Bib 1, and here comes number 2, Naomi Fox, second in the semi-final. So the high spin and the high line, and sweeps out of 7 safely away. Through 9, 10 and 11, nice and clean. Now the double jump. Good around 12. Catch some air. And good glide around 13. So good through the middle section. 1.5 up on the top. Kate Eckhart leads. 1:16.05. A little bit low into 16. Spin and hold, and she's in high into the last up and gets away. 4 seconds up at this point. And the last gate to come. So 1:16 the time to beat, well inside, and into the lead goes Naomi. 1:10.95, 1:10.95, 1 boat to go. Kate Eckhart, 1:16, and here comes bib number 1, Jessica Fox, nice through one, turns on the inside, good smooth line from 2 to 3, nicely on top of the water. That's a gift. The early spin, and gets the tight turn out of 7. So good start. Double up, coming up, flies around 12. A little bit low on 13, but picks up the speed on the exit. 5 seconds up on the top. Well, that was in gate 2 to 3. Tight on 7. Great up on 12. And here we go now. Catches that wave into 16. Super high. Second split time coming up. Clips the pole on the way through. 8 seconds now. We'll be down to 6. Get out of the last up. Bit of a fight, but away through to the finish. 1:10.95 to beat. Can she get under 100? 97, 98. It's not going to happen, but a good run. One penalty. 104, 105.09. 105.09. So Jess Fox, Oceania champion. Naomi Fox second, 6 seconds, almost 6 seconds back on 1:10.95. So 105.09, 1:10.95 in second, and Kate Eckhart in third. That's our podium from the women's K1 final. 1:16.05 the time for Kate Eckhart. Just look back to that semi-final. 104.10 was the clean run in the semi, and 105.09 in the final. So congratulations to those 3 medal winners and to all the finalists. Great showing. Good to be racing in a final, getting that experience, earning some points for some, meeting a standard for others. It's all a little bit complicated, but somebody will work it all out, what it means, beyond just a race on the river on a Saturday in Penrith. And we'll be moving on pretty quickly in just a few minutes to the men's K1, and there was a little adjustment to the provisional results as the judges reviewed scores and penalties, and the first boat to go will be Josh Montalto, the under-23 athlete from Victoria. Mark Crosby, also from Victoria, will be second off. Hamish Dalziel from Tasmania. Tristan Carter, Seb Montalto, Lucien Delfour in the middle of the pack. It's going to be interesting. Will he set that final alight? Mathieu Biazizo, Angus Thompson, Benjamin Pope and Tim Anderson. They are the 10 finalists in the men's K1 final, coming up at 12:35. So just a few minutes. And after that men's K1 final, we will move pretty quickly to presentations. And the presentations go to Open, under 23 and under 18. So if you didn't make the final, but you're pretty good for your age, don't go away. You'll get some bling, some sort of bling. It's not quite what they get at the Australian Open down in Melbourne at Rod Laver Arena. I think Ash Barty will pick up a cool 4 mil if she wins, and won't be too bad, won't be shabby for second either. So presentations to follow just after 1 o'clock. Got a couple of minutes to go before Josh Montalto gets this men's K1 final underway. Great to see 3 junior men in the final. Mark Crosby will be the first to go. Hamish Dalziel, and Seb Montalto. And Josh is an under 23. The rest are in open. So on the bright side, the young ones, the young guns going well. Well, just a few other questions from our little survey. Who do you want to win in the Oz Open? Tennis. Well, no surprises. Ash Barty gets up there. Not Djokovic. Well, he's not there. Nadal comes through. What are your first impressions from the semi-final score? Spicy. Pretty tricky, but in a good way, using the water. Looks really good. Great moves. Using the water should separate the men from the boys. And let's see if that's the case in this men's final. Separating the men from the boys. Josh Montalto will give us the first indication of that. Good line through gate 2 and 3. Montalto gets off to a good start. Oh, just inside on 6. I like it. And head around 7. So settling in now, Josh Montalto needs to consolidate a little, keep the bow facing downstream, nail the double up. Just to fight a little bit up in 12, but a good cross and nice and high in 13. Away to go, away he goes, back into the flow. Getting good grip. A nice inside flick into 15. And the sweep out of 16. So Josh Montalto out and away. He's going to be close to the 100 mark. It'll be the first score on the board. And the gauntlet being thrown down. He's just outside that. 104, 105.25. Josh Montalto. Good work from the Victorian. And straight into it, Mark Crosby. Aggressively out of gate 3. Good turn on 6, almost too good, but it sets him up well for a quick upstream on 7. Well, we'll keep our eye on the top split, 43-46. I like Montalto. Crosby fights a little bit on 12, but not bad. Takes a hit. That looked like running into an NRL prop. Main wave hit him full on. and pushed him back a little bit, but back into the rhythm, and the surf looking to find that wave. It's not coming easy through the middle. And he's slipped away on the split times from Josh Montalto. So a promising start to the run, some difficulties through the middle, and now finishing it off. C1 to come tomorrow for Mark Crosby. He was close to the seniors yesterday, so something to look forward to. Perhaps some disappointment there, but 1:21.15. Brave effort. And now Hamish Dalziel, the next young gun from Tasmania. Makes a good enough job of 2 to 3, so he's up and away in the boat designed by Lucien Delfour, the GT. Solid start for Hamish Dalziel, not overpowering it, staying off the poles, building his run intelligently, pushing in now for 12. And tangled in 13, so high lines on the cross. Now the middle section for Hamish Dalziel needs to get a high line into 16. Seb Montalto still to come from the juniors. And then it's the big boys, the seniors. And into the last up and out on 94, 95. $105.25, he's outside that, he'll go into second position, 113.41. Hamish Dalziel in second. Josh Montalto still leads, 105.25. It's there for the taking. Tristan Carter now in very high, too high, but away on the sweep, out of 3. Good fast exit out of 7. But carrying a penalty from gate 6 that he'll know about. But settle back into a good rhythm, good tempo. High into 12, high on the cross, runs it around. I'd say he's got an advantage. Although he was a second down on the top, that was the penalty, but a fast double up and now a fast cross into 16, but gets caught up. So there's a second penalty, second split coming up. 1.27 down. So in touch with a fast finish and a good last up, which he gets out tight down across the bottom of the pool, chasing the 105. 105.25, it's going to be tight. 103 coming up, 104, 104.71, new leader, Tristan Carter, 104.71, 4 seconds of penalties on gates 6 and 16. But that fast finish got him in front of Josh Montalto, who now drops to second. Hamish Dalziel. Matt's the father and coach. Hamish Dalziel sits in third, Mark Crosby in fourth. And now we're watching the younger Montalto. Goes Seb, so the crowd. Making sure on 7. Well, I offered to do a trade with Seb Montalto, and some of his speed for me, and between the poles for him. And he gets between the poles on 12, and now fighting in 13. He gets out and away, super tight. He's pulling it off. He was 1.4 up on the top. Can he hold it together? Keep his composure, keep his head in the game. He's out of 16. He's chasing 104.71, but also in terms of the juniors, looking to get in front of Hamish Dalziel and Mark Crosby, and out on the last up on 88 seconds, so the chase is on. 104.71 the time to beat. He's going to make it. 99, he goes over the 100. 102.70 for Seb Montalto. Clean run, hard fought, head in the game, and first on the leaderboard with Lucien Delfour chasing now. Delfour, bib number 1. Makes light work of the cross, 2 to 3. Threading beautifully through the downs, takes the early spin, holds. It's got a push up now for 7, but he's away well. A lot of intent in his paddling, a little pressure on the blade. Wasn't too rushed on the first run in the semi, but now a sense of urgency about Delfour. Good lines around 12, good glide across the wave. Now watch the turbo go in the GT. His self-designed boat, 14-15, straightens up, catches the wave, stays on the wave, keeps the glide. Such a key move, doesn't lose any momentum. So Delfour now is up and away, out of the last upstream on 80 seconds. He's going to finish in the 90s, 6 seconds up on the second split. 3 gates between Delfour, and a great time. 92 already, it's fast, and it's finished for Delfour, 97.42. 97.42, Delfour, clean. No, there's a penalty for Delfour. Penalty is on gate 20. Penalty on 20 for Delfour. Now, Matt Biazizot from France. Angus Thompson, Ben Pope, Tim Anderson still to come. Allez la France, nice turn out of 3. You or I would get whiplash whipping the boat around like that, but no trouble for Matt Biazizot. Bouncing through 8 and 9. Now the crucial section. He's half a second up on Delfour. Glides, that's a good line around 13 into the flow. Good positioning. Breathes a little, lets the pace settle into this move. Got to catch that wave. Gets turned upstream, but manages it well, and out of 16. So close between Lucien Delfour and Mathieu Biazizot. Now just a second down. So it's going to be close between the two. (97.42) the time to beat. Biazizot on the sprint to the line. It's going to be very, very close. And he crosses in 97.23 and moves a fraction of a second ahead into the lead. Biazizot, France, ahead of Lucien Delfour. And still more to come. Angus Thompson, Ben Pope, Tim Anderson. So good finish there from Biazizot. The penalty on that upstream at 20 for Delfour is what has moved him down. He was faster on the clock, but the penalty costly, and he finds himself 0.19 behind as Angus Thompson now dances around the top of the course. He dropped a little low on 3, but good glide around and a little bit gourmand, as the French would say, around the poles of 7, so that's going to be a challenge for him to recover from, because he had to spin around and go back up. That's about a 5 second. It's probably a 5 second, and in fact he finds himself 8 seconds adrift on the top split. So will he throw caution to the wind or measure the bottom and play on the penalties? He's out of 16 nicely. See if he's made up any of that loss from the top. That was quickly through 17 and 18. He's paddling aggressively, but still too far adrift of Matt Biazizot and Lucien Delfour, who are comfortably ahead of third. That's Seb Montalto. So Montalto, perhaps the target, but still outside the 100. 107.26 for Thompson, and that puts him into 6th position. So he'll be disappointed with that struggle around 7. But here comes Ben Pope, the next challenger. Oh no, Delfour is in. His penalty has been removed, and 95.42, now the time to beat. That happens with review. So perhaps a keypad error or a water touch, but in any case, the penalty for Delfour removed. 95.42, the lead. Biazizot in second, 1.8 behind. Montalto in third, some distance away. So Ben Pope is off to a good start, other than the very first gate, which has a yellow flag against it. 2 second penalty for Ben Pope at the top. 3 seconds adrift on the first split. So most of that accounted for by the penalty. Here comes Pope through the middle, out of 16. The second split will be telling as he closed the gap on Delfour. He has slightly, but not enough. It's going to take a fast up and a wicked finish. Well, there's the up, a bit of a struggle on the entry, but he's out tight. Ben Pope now, a lot to do on the final sprint, even to get under the 100. 23 is done, and here's the sprint. 98, 99, 102, 103.02. 103.02 for Ben Pope. And that's 4th position. So Delfour leads, Matt Biazizot in second, Seb Montalto in third, Ben Pope in 4th. 4 seconds of penalties for Pope, gates 1 and gates 22. That's dropped him down, and here comes Timothy Anderson. So Tim Anderson finds himself in a similar position at the top of the course as Ben Pope. Good fast line to 7. No trouble there for Anderson. Ducking and diving a little bit through 9, 10, 11. So a couple of seconds to make up. Good upstream on 12. Back in touch. Super glide into 13. Anderson needs to keep the hammer down. No room for error. He's chasing down a remarkable time from Lucien Delfour. He's out very tight. He's comfortable close to the poles. He is carrying that penalty from gate 1. And he's going to need to move it. 2.89 behind, and drops a little low in the last up. 95, the time to beat from Delfour. He's giving it everything. He's chasing hard. 95 is gone. Then it's Biazizo in second and Montalto in third. 100.66. Tim Anderson goes third. 100.66. 4 seconds of penalties. And so the winner in the men's K1 final, Lucien Delfour. Great run, clean run, 95.42. In second, Matt Biazizo, 1.8 behind. And then Tim Anderson with 4 seconds of penalties into third position. Seb Montalto, the best of the juniors. So the course did separate the men from the boys.